Hello and welcome to episode 73 of the Pretty Good Gaming Podcast. I'm Mike Williams, this is Liam McKelvey and Jay Kulkowski.
Hiya.
How's it going, fellas?
It's alright. Good, yeah, man.
We're on Spotify and iTunes.
We are on Spotify and iTunes. Yeah.
So hello if you're listening. Hello if you've never heard of us before, even heard of us before. But this is episode 73. We've been doing it for quite a while on YouTube only. And now we're distributing it as an audio file, which is we think is quite a bold idea for a podcast, but it might work. It might just kind of listening to it and not watching it. Maybe maybe it'll take off. Who knows? Well, we put this podcast together with the support of our Patreon backers. So if you join us on Patreon, you get early access to this podcast by a few days, and also you can ask us questions, which is the entire premise of the podcast. They're all topical questions and just general gaming stuff, that questions that are asked by our Patreon supporters. And if you want to do that, join us on Patreon and check out our podcast post every single week. Comment below that with your question, and we'll answer it the following week. And the questions kind of go something like this one from Victor, who asks, what is a great game that goes very well with the art style the dev team chose for it? I recently played The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit by Don't Nod, and I think there can be no other art style suitable for that game, or LIS, Life is Strange.
Right?
Thanks, lads.
Yeah.
He also very kindly says we're a very underrated channel, so cheers, Victor.
Cheers, Victor.
So art styles, video game art styles, what's the best one that kind of matches what the game is? I think this is quite a tough but open question.
Yeah.
I can think of a couple of ones with the aesthetic, and
it's so important, isn't it? It's like it's like very high up the list in terms of your big design decisions early on when you're making a game. I reckon.
Yeah, there's a couple of standout ones when it comes to like that for me. I think Inside's pretty good, and Limbo, right? But focus a bit more on Inside, I guess, because that's very
both kind of similar in a lot of ways. And
it is. I guess Inside's gone a bit bolder in the sense that it's got more than just grayscale and stuff like that, but it's still the colours of machinery, rust and blood, and that's the sort of kind of nature of the game. There's like, well, I don't know, I don't want to spoil it, but there's a lot of stuff in there, and the colours and visual themes match the story, which is going on in the background a lot of the time and stuff like that. So I feel like that's pretty good. I feel like it's one of them where you can take a screenshot of the game, look at it and imagine what the game's going to be like, and you're pretty much going to get it first time. And I feel like that's like the perfect it's the same with Life is Strange. You just, by looking at that, a picture of it, you can go, oh, it's probably going to be like a young adult teeny game like that, where there's going to be some like millennial quips, but on top of that, like a bit of fucking mild peril and that, and maybe something else, and it is that. So I'm going to say Inside's probably the one that's like that you can get. Unfinished Swan, where it's really artsy.
That game is more art style than game, I would say.
It's the people that made What Remains of Edith Finch. It's the game they did before that, and that's like that. You look at a picture of that and you go, oh, it's going to be one of them games. It's like dead arty. It lasts about 2 hours, and in the end of it, you go, huh, that was good. Yeah. It's one of them. Yeah. So that's what I'm bringing to the table.
What about you, Liam? What about your what's a good art style, but crucially fits with the game that it is supposed to be?
Hollow Knight. I don't know why. That's got some very lovely art. And if you made it 3D, I don't think it'd have the same spirit to it.
No, definitely not. It would. I think you're totally right. And the whole look and aesthetic of it is kind of, it's weirdly kind of nice. Mm-hmm. And kind of cute and whatever, but also
quite grim.
Very much not.
Yeah.
It's
it does set the tone for the world, because the whole point of Hollow Knight is like the world slowly falling apart, being destroyed, whatever. But there's a sort of a ray of hope in there, I guess. Yeah. And you get that from like sort of cutesy looking characters. Yeah. But like the background art and stuff is all like, collapsing buildings and things like rotting away and stuff like that.
Art style is such a big, it's such a big decision when you go into making a game. I think you both picked like top answers there, but I think for me it's going to be the big game of the moment, innit? It's No Man's Sky. That game is just, I can't imagine it looking any other way. I can't they could have gone for like more of a traditional kind of sci-fi thing, and it would maybe have ended up looking a bit more like Elite Dangerous or like Eve or something. But except the sky and the stars and stuff, they kind of put color filters and stuff on it, and they make it look deliberately, very consciously trying to make it look like pulpy sci-fi short story collections.
Yeah, which is
and that's the look they've gone for, and they've completely achieved it, in my opinion. Because if you just kind of pan around a lot of the time and just look at where you've parked your spaceship or something, and there's like other spaceships in the sky, there's like 2 planets in that you can see in the sky as well, and all of it looks like screenshot material, and a lot of that is down to the pure art style of it, not as well as anything else.
The thing is, like with space stuff, like sometimes it looks a bit space opera-y, and if there was like ships with massive railguns and stuff like that, that isn't in line with the feel of the game. I guess No Man's Sky is about the exploration and like the wonder of like space travel and stuff, and that is like what the pulp comics and the magazines were doing back then, because that was before people were really going into space a lot and stuff. So it was
a
mostly,
lot of optimism.
Optimism, wonder, and like these weird color schemes and stuff like that. You see like lots of like greens and pinks and reds, like a twisted ice lolly, like that sort of color stuff. And like that is what No Man's Sky encapsulates, and that's the type of game it's going for. It's not going for the space opera, Mass Effect-y stuff.
It's going for
this planet looks, and
it's very in a genre that is very crowded. And I'm talking genre as in sci-fi now, not like space exploration.
Generated quintillion planet.
I mean, sci-fi as a genre in video games is so like it's so done, it's so covered that how do you make a game that looks different? Or feels different in any way, and they completely nail it with the art style in that game, because it just sets itself apart so strongly, and it gets people who aren't interested in games talking about it because of a lot of it, because of how it looks, because of the art that they've got for the game outside of the game. Like the cover of the video game.
Imagine doing a little test. Imagine taking a picture of a skybox of Knights of the Old Republic, Mass Effect, a bit of empty space in Stellaris, crop out the UIs and stuff, and No Man's Sky, and you'd be able to pick out No Man's Sky straight away. The others, it'll be a little bit harder. So there's definitely, this iconic visual aesthetic that No Man's Sky brings, just in the colour palette in that style. So it's spot on. I think.
That'll be my pick. So thanks for the great question, Victor, to get us started. Glasgow Graham with the next one. He asks, it seems that the Switch won't have the almighty back catalogue of retro Nintendo games everyone seemed to want, but I'm wondering if that has been a good thing for indies now that Steam is killing them, he says. But I don't know if that's I don't know if Steam's killing them, but it's not great for it at the moment. Many say that the Switch is the best place for indie games, and I can't put my finger on why, but I wonder if it would have been so good for the industry if Switch launched with lots of old virtual console games that scratch the itch indies now have. So is it a good thing that there's not tons of retro Nintendo games on the Switch for indie? So in lieu of that, we're playing more indie games, and that's helping the indie market kind of flourish on the Switch. Is that a fair observation? I think there's got to be a little bit to that.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's like, I guess Glasgow Graham's on about in both senses, Steam killing indie games and it's because things are easy to find, I guess, because of the catalogue and stuff like that. But if Nintendo had an eShop with retro games, they'd just have to have like a virtual console section.
Yeah.
And then they could have the rest of the stuff. And that way you could easily differentiate. So you're not scrolling past Duck Hunt and Mario Bros to find Hollow Knight. Yeah. They're going to be in two separate places. I think that they can coexist. I really do, because there's a section for retro games and there's a section, and they'll probably come with their own respective prices and stuff. So, I, for one, I'm disappointed in the lack of retro games. I wanted to buy Super Mario World on a Switch or whatever. I couldn't do it, and I don't want to buy a SNES Mini and that. So, and at the same time, I'm not disappointed with the Switch indies, but there is a lot of shit on there. It's a conversation that me and you had, Mike, actually, earlier in the week, but there is a lot of shit on there already.
Yeah. That's very true. I noticed last week that they'd released kind of 4 or 5 of these very similar, very low-rent looking games on the same day. And in my head, I was just hearing people say, oh, the Switch is so great because it's all curated and it's not, and there's less game. It's kind of, it was already reaching the point where they need to be more picky with what they're promoting, or because when you just filter by recent releases, there's a lot of dross. And there's you've played a couple of games that we don't have to name them, I guess.
Yeah, I don't want to name them, but there's a couple of games that were given to me and they were shit. Yeah, really bad games, and I was shocked. I was just like, I can't believe
I
this
have had that
is even
experience
on there.
as well.
It was like, if it was on it's early access. It's a sort of thing early Jim Stern will make a video out. and I'm like, this is on the Switch. And if I had paid for that, I would have been fucking gutted.
There's one game I can think of that I played, and I wouldn't say it was really, really shit, and I wouldn't say it was Jim Sterling material, but I would say that it was just not up to scratch. Right. It just wasn't. It just felt very slow, very unresponsive. Yeah, it was just not fun to play, and I didn't want. I ended up not wanting to do a video on it because it would have been a very negative video about the game. It's
the same. I'm in the same. There's one game I want about in particular. About when I say Jim Sterling, it was not functional. I had to reload it twice to get past. Right. And it's a side-scrolling game. And it's one of them like walk to the side, and you don't have to do anything. There's no puzzles, nothing like that.
Just move on.
Yeah, it's not like a fucking I was missing anything. But yeah, so I was that really knocked it. Just that really knocked the reputation of the Switch down in my head by quite a lot. They do get good ports though. They do, like any good indie game on a PC will find its way to the Switch in a year. Yeah, that's they've got Owlboy, they've got Hollow Knight. They've got the big ones like that. And they're probably going to get Minute if they've not already got it. They're probably going to get Undertale if they've not already got it. The big boys.
Any big popular indie game needs to get on the Switch, don't it?
Exactly, and it is going to, right? But I feel like retro games and stuff they can just coexist.
What about you, Liam? What do you think on this?
Yeah, I'm largely in the same frame of mind as Jake is. I do think they can coexist with each other because retro games have that nostalgia thing attached to them as well. Yeah, and if you play Yooka-Laylee, it's good, but it's not quite got the same feeling to it as Banjo-Kazooie and stuff like that. I think there's definitely room for both of them to be on the Switch. I wish they were, because I still love going back and playing old games. But yeah, I don't.
You've got about 19 consoles ready to go at any one time, haven't you?
I do.
Plugged into the Matrix.
But I don't think indies are under threat from retro games at all.
Yeah,
because most of the indies take concepts from all the retro games and improve on them.
And that's the premise that he's kind of put forward here. That the fact that there is an absence of classic Nintendo stuff is really opening the door for indies in a big way. I don't think it's just that. I think the portability is a big factor, and the low number of games in comparison to Steam. Steam gets about 130 games a week added to it, right? And the Switch doesn't get that much, but like we've already said, it is kind of creeping up. The amount of games on it is harder and harder to find the gems, I would say, already. And it's not been that long out as a console. So I think it's something that Nintendo need to look at. And
I think they've got that Discover section now.
Yeah, they're doing things. They're updating the eShop. The eShop has already had a big update. So you're totally right. And they've done things like you can see more of the top games. So before you could only see 15, well now you can see 30, which is a minor thing, but that's another 15 games that a lot of other people are buying that you can see is maybe worth your time kind of thing. So it just needs more work and needs more attention. I think definitely some retro games in any form, even if it's a collection, even if it's a 20 quid collection of 4 or 5 or something. I don't know what the price would be.
Are they holding off on them to remaster them like that? Release the 30 NES game pack or whatever.
Possibly, yeah.
They did it on the Wii U. They did the NES Remix collection, whatever it's called.
Yeah. I mean, if I don't see why they couldn't do it. The SNES Mini Classic.
The minis, isn't it, probably?
No, but why couldn't they? They've already shifted them, and as a little retro piece. If you wanted one, you would have bought one already by now, I reckon. You could just take every game that's on that and take the SNES Mini Classic software bundle. Sell out on a Switch for whatever. Do you know what I mean?
For 70 quid or something.
Well,
people buy it though. That's the
sort. Well, about 30, I was thinking. But
it's the Nintendo eShop, man.
That's true.
Capcom put all the Mega Man games in their own collections and stuff like that. Whereas before, it just would have been on the Virtual Console or whatever. Yeah.
So I think I agree with you there. That there's room for both of them to coexist. But I think that it has definitely helped so far. It's just the Nintendo need to keep an eye on it. They need to keep an eye on the eShop, and they need to. Sure. Be wary of
stringent.
And maybe that's going to be one of the things that they fix when they bring in the paid online. You know what I mean? Because then all of a sudden it's a paid service, and
so that's coming later this year, isn't it?
Yeah, so I'm assuming that's when they're going to step up. I think they need to step up, maybe.
So cheers, Glasgow Graham, for your question. Stalin B. Bowling says, plenty of games have great gameplay mechanics, but a very meh storyline. So on the opposite end, Has there ever been a game where you thought the gameplay was just meh or barely above average, but the storyline was the real star and pushed the title to that of a great game? Cheers. P.S. I do not endorse any brutal dictators. It's just a username that is always available for obvious reasons.
Oh, that was on the back of last week.
Thank you, Stalin B. Ballin, for that clarification. So are there any games that are just kind of live on the strength of the story, the story basically?
Yes, straight away, Deadly Premonition. That game is barely functional as a gameplay stands.
Okay.
But the story is so unique, bit wacky. It made me want to platinum the game because I wanted to see everything I could.
Wow, because the story is that good.
Because the story carried me through.
Give us for anyone for the uninitiated, what is this basic premise of it?
Of Deadly Premonition?
Yeah.
It's a murder mystery set in a small town. Basically, just like what would happen if a Japanese man remade Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
That is basically it.
Put some button prompts in it. And put
some barely functional gameplay in there. But it's good. Like the sheer strength of that story, it made me want to platinum the game.
Is it just that it was weird, or was it?
It starts out weird, but the more you play it, it's like the more you get involved in the characters. Their backstory starts like coming out of the woodwork. And you just you end up really wanting just invested in the characters.
So that was that good for you? Were you like tolerating the controls by it? Were you fighting against the controls and the gameplay and stuff the whole way through, or was it? Did you just kind of get numb to it after a while?
Bit of both, probably. Because the gameplay is just like a really shit version of Resident Evil 4.
Yeah, okay.
Like barely functional third-person shooting.
Yeah.
And then some puzzle elements.
Right.
That's about it. But the story is very well done.
Well, that's okay. That's some
endorsement.
endorsement.
It has the Guinness World Record for the most polarizing game of all time.
Yeah, critically speaking, the reviews were like 10 or 0. Yeah. It was like
I think Jim Sterling famously gave it a 10 out of 10 for the sheer strength of the story.
Yeah. Jim Sterling, he's not averse to a big review score, is he? He's not averse to making some big claims. What about you, Jake? Have you got any games?
You're not going to like this one.
Go on.
There's two, and I'm not trying to be controversial. Because we already know about BioShock, right? I don't really like the gameplay. I don't really like arcane games, how they play. I just don't know what it is. But BioShock 1 did get me through it because I was interested in finding out what was going to happen, mostly because my mates were promising me this big moment at the end, and it delivered, let's say that.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. This is I don't know if I mentioned this before, but
that wasn't the controversial one.
No.
Oh dear.
I know this is bad, and I know this is going to get me in trouble. Yeah,
because I'm quite upset about the fact. That
but you kind of know that already about me, so it's not like you've broke through the floor. Right. Where your bar of what you think of me is still the same because you already hate me for that anyway. This is a bit of and I open this up. It's like a support group. Feel free to step forward if this has affected you as well.
Oh my god.
Right, this is a game where the story's great, but the gameplay isn't all that, and I think the gameplay is overrated, and it's The Last of Us. I
was really worried you were going to say Knights of the Old Republic, and I was about to do a backflip.
No. Now hear me out, right?
Continue.
The Last of Us is great. It's really, really good, and I really like it. Now here's the problem that I had. I hadn't played an Uncharted game when they came out, and then I got a PS3 just before The Last of Us came out, and I played Uncharted 1, 2, and 3. And they were good. Uncharted 2 was especially good. And the way the reticle is, the way everything plays, and you're looting, you're jumping in, there's all these big set pieces and shit. And then I played The Last of Us a few months later. And I only got to the sewer bit the first time round. And it wasn't a huge departure from the Uncharted engine in gameplay. It felt very similar into how it played. Yeah. So the only thing that made it different was the story and the plot, which was hugely different, and it was really good. And I loved The Last of Us. I'd give The Last of Us about a 9 out of 10. I'd give the gameplay about a 6 out of 10. I found it really dragged. I hated the fucking cordyceps bits. I hated the stupid Batman vision. Everyone gives any game a bad time about that, apart from Joel's stupid bat hearing. Yeah. I don't like the collecting fucking all the little bits. Don't like it. Found it was very slow. And then it was like the things that people criticise Uncharted for, like, your wall-to-wall shootout bit, stop. Shootout bit, stop. That's in that as well. It's stuff that I played in Gears of War 2.
People don't criticise Uncharted for that. I criticise Uncharted for that.
No, you're not alone, honestly.
Really?
You're not alone.
There are others out there.
There are other people out there,
right.
There are a lot of people who criticise The Last of Us for
there are, yeah.
There is, yeah. So I know it's not. I know I'm not, completely like on my own here, but I don't know if I've ever said it. But I just found it dragged at points, and I went to play it again quite recently. It was last summer, so it was about a year ago. And I couldn't get past the ish bit. I love that bit, and I was just like, this is like where the game peaks for me, I reckon. I don't know, it just feels it drags. Or maybe it's because, though, I like the story so much, the gameplay just gets in the way a bit. But then, what's that about?
Well, I mean...
I know that's unpopular, but...
It is unpopular, but it's not. It's definitely not the first... That's a lot less controversial, I think, than
Perhaps, yeah. Especially, maybe it's because I remember The Last of Us when it came out. I remember all the critical acclaim, and it's like The Witcher 3. It's still up there, and it deserves to be. I can see
why someone would say it's one of their favorite games ever, and I can see why someone would give it a 6 out of 10 overall, because a lot of the game is just hiding behind a desk or literally waiting for things to get.
I think when you go back to it and you're actually in the midst of it, you're like, this is dragging a bit. But then when you think back to it, you don't remember that bit. You remember the standout bits. So. But I think that's the game. The gameplay is not bad, but it's not thrilling. It's not like God of War, where the gameplay that came out this year, and the gameplay is
complementary,
phenomenal. And that couldn't work, I don't think, without having that gameplay. I think The Last of Us could work without the gameplay.
Possibly.
I don't think Bioshock could.
Although I don't know if I'd sit there and watch The Last of Us if it was a TV series or something. I don't know.
Maybe not.
I don't know. Possibly.
What about you? What you got?
Well, mine is it's not to discredit, because I really can't think of. It's weird. I don't think of story as like a separate thing usually with games. I just that's not how I think about it. But the only thing I can think of, which is still not really saying the gameplay is bad at all, is Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, because I played that and really highly rated it. Not because the story was good, but just because the gameplay was like secondary to the whole. Do you know what I mean? It's just walk in and charm. So that's not why I loved it so much. I loved it for all the other reasons around it. But the gameplay was fun and meaty in a lot of it. And, I enjoyed it, but it's not.
But that's
it's not why. It's not why I rated it as highly as I did. If you know what I mean. That's the only thing I can think of really. That's anywhere along those lines.
That's spot on. And I think that's what it's like with The Last of Us. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's amazing. I don't think it's doing anything remotely different. And I think Uncharted 2 does it better. But it's the story that is like the bit that's like the A+.
That's it, So that's a great question.
It is a really good question,
Stalin be ballin', who again does not endorse any brutal dictators. Thank you for that. Simply Phil with the next question. Do you think that publishers are now going to back off developers and let them complete a game before it released, as surely low Metacritic scores impact how a game is received, rather than the launch being delayed? So he's thinking here about No Man's Sky, Mass Effect Andromeda, that kind of thing. We have had recent games that have been released in a broken state, as well as the fiascos No Man's Sky and Andromeda, which really hit the headlines. I appreciate that No Man's Sky is now looking closer to the game we were all promised, but surely it should never have been released like that in the first place. So does it need to... Should they be delaying games? Or is that going to happen more now because of the anxiety of having another No Man's Sky launch or another Mass Effect Andromeda, exactly, a shit, which is what you're stuck with. Your Steam user ratings can change over time, but your Metacritic score is what it is forever after it launches. And some sites have, like IGN try and do like a re-review and stuff like that. But that's still, that's not really going to help. Overall, it's just going to help a certain sector of people who read IGN. It's not going to have a big impact on the Metacritic score.
Well, when you look at a game or whatever, what's the first thing you do? Like for me, I just Google it, and the first thing that happens on Google is you get an icon of the game, you get like a bit of the Wikipedia entry, and you normally get the Metacritic and stuff, right? So and that's one fixed number, like you're saying, like
it's very powerful.
So it is powerful because that's your first glance. You immediately see a 60, and you're like, well, some people don't care about critic reviews at all. They're more interested in user reviews, but I care about them. And you're right, it's like super important. Like No Man's Sky is essentially releasing No Man's Sky 2 this week for free. And do you know what I mean with Next? And like that's not going to be reflected at all on Metacritic or anything like that.
Or some would argue inversely, but it gets you to the same place. They're releasing the game that they promised, except it's coming 2 years after the reviews came out, so it's not going to have any effect on the thing that people reviewed, and the reviews that are up on Metacritic are not for the game that people will be playing as of July 24th.
That's why people do early access, to duck out of Metacritic.
Yes, definitely. It's probably a part of it.
And then they just look at IGN, look at your game. When all the positive articles come out, they're like, right, now we're going live,
Maybe the No Man's Sky thing, it might affect the Xbox score.
Yeah,
because it's brand new.
That's true.
That platform.
That's very
so
true.
Any review for that will be fresh.
But that's totally true. But that's very specific to this instance where they've re-released on a different platform, and that might be kind of a solution to some games, and that does happen because PlayStation have had a lot of kind of console exclusives that turned out to be timed exclusives because Hellblade has gone over to Xbox and stuff, and then Nier Automata, and then they'll get reassessed. So if it is like No Man's Sky where the games come out on one platform and it's been trashed pretty much, and then it's moved on to another platform, and the reviews are going to be because it's 2 years later, they've added loads of stuff to the game, it's a different game, what are the reviews going to be like? That's actually really an interesting point, because there will be a ton of No Man's Sky reviews, and I've not thought about that until this very point.
You're going to see Metacritic score, PlayStation 4, 63, Xbox One, 90, what I mean? Well, maybe not 90, but a lot higher. But
there's going to be a load of reviewers playing the game and reviewing it at this point, which is quite an unusual situation for a game that's been that negatively received. 2 years later, it's getting re-reviewed by a bunch of critics.
And this is the power of what Simply Phil's saying, not being...
Just get it right the first time.
Yeah, and this is something that, I don't know, it's going to be so weird because there's going to be constantly be like publishers and developers making games as services, but that new style of game doesn't fit that old style of reviewing, and then that's affecting Metacritic scores, it's affecting like headlines, silly videos and compilations, and all sorts of different things like that. So either the old way of journalism and the old way of reviewing and stuff has to change, or they're going to have to start being maybe a little bit more mindful of the impact of launching your game, because that release date is important to some people, even if it isn't the developers. So I don't know, and how much of that's down to publishers, I can't say, but I feel like if you are a publisher, the correct thing to do at the moment is to try and be like, it's ready when it's ready, breathe and stuff like that. You hear about God of War again, I bring it up just because it's the most critically acclaimed game this year, and they were talking, Sony were just like, take your time.
And they have been like that with all of them. I mean, that's true. They've done that with like Horizon Zero Dawn, and all of their big AAA games are so polished and so high budget and so just they feel premium as hell. And part of that is because they get delayed if they need to be, and without fail, they'll just say, do whatever you want and take as long as you want to do it, and that's the you get results like God of War.
I think we did a video once about it, and I think Simply Phil was in the comment section for it actually, and it was, I think Gaz asked people, do you mind the game being delayed? And like pretty much everyone said no. Do you think that like the publishers are just releasing it because it's like a specific window? Like, we want the game ready by November because we know it will do well for Christmas. So when someone says, we're going to have to delay it till March, they're like, fuck, that's like Christmas sales out the way. Yeah. That's what BioWare do. Fuck.
Definitely.
I'll stop doing that.
That's definitely a factor,
It's a good BioWare impression.
It'll probably be something to do with that, though. I think maybe it's because publishers just like need to have that window, the fiscal year. And that's
more, that kind of reality, that boardroom reality is kind of more of a factor than we ever give it credit for. And not just us, I mean, everyone involved in gaming, like, in the terms of media on YouTube and the community and stuff, that kind of, we need a lot of money in October. So you've got
so we can afford to ship out our games in November.
How many games have been delayed because of Red Dead? Because just no one wants to go up against it.
The release calendar is just kind of like there's this little force field around Red Dead Redemption 2 because no one wants to go.
They've got to look at like the competition, when people typically buy games, sell games, whatever. It's like that is a factor that doesn't get talked about a lot.
That's right. And if they've planned for a release and then it doesn't release as planned, then that has so many knock-on effects for the company that that's probably why it doesn't work. But I think that overall, I think maybe there is a bit of a shift. I think there have been, Microsoft have delayed Crackdown God knows how many times. Fingers crossed that game comes out and is pretty good. Sea of Thieves was, as far as I'm aware, took a long time to come out. PlayStation do it all the time, and Red Dead Redemption was delayed. Red Dead Redemption was meant to be out last year. Like the tail end of last year.
Yeah, it was.
And that was the original release date. That's been delayed a whole year. It was delayed twice, I think, wasn't it?
I think Nintendo don't even announce games until they're like definitely ready to go.
And I like that. And Bethesda are another ones that like to do that kind of thing. And that definitely works. And that's probably a better way to do it.
It's a good look for them.
It is good look. But what it means is they can show it off, and it's gameplay. They can show off whatever they want. They don't have to be. You get to see the game running in some trailer or some kind of demo or whatever properly, because the game is almost finished, and that's that helps the marketing and stuff anyway. So that's a big topic to get into there. But thanks, Simply Phil. Thanks for raising that question. And one more question before we move on to fact of the week. This one comes from Simon Van Geldra.
Hello.
He asks, hey guys, new patron here since the video from Gaz. So we did a bit of a Patreon appeal for anyone who's unaware, and that's we've had a lot of new patrons over the last week or so, and Simon is one of them. Thank you very much, Simon, for joining us, and thanks for your question. What are some good games to let my parents play? They have a very negative view on gaming and think it's a waste of time. Keep in mind that they have never used a controller or keyboard and mouse. I actually love this question because I've had this exact thought process myself when I was a kid. And I was like, my dad in particular, I don't know why, but I think my mum was a bit more like open to it. Mm-hmm. But my dad was like not big on it at all, right? And I was like trying to show him stuff like he rode motorbikes, so I'd show him motorbike games and stuff, and he just wasn't having it, and it never worked. It never worked. It did with my mum a little bit.
Yeah, with those janky PS1 graphics, though, innit? I mean, if you know you were young now, your dad would probably be blown away by the graphics and shit.
Yeah,
I'm just laughing, imagining you showing him Road Rash. But that's realistic, and it's like a chain.
He wouldn't give a shit. He wouldn't give a shit though. He's just kind of.
Yeah. I've got a real bike, Michael. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like that,
yeah. So it just kind of fell off there. So that's my stepdad there, and my other dad. He's big into it. Like he loves games anyway. So it's his fault. That's why I'm here because of him.
This is therapy.
That slipped out. That's Freudian. It's his fault.
Tell me about your father.
This is his fault. He bought the SNES like when I was a little kid, and that's so he was into it before I was. So I've never had to convince him. So it's just kind of this weird kind of dynamic where I wanted my stepdad and my mum to be into it. My mum was kind of a bit more open, and then my stepdad just wasn't having it. Yeah, just didn't give a shit. But I don't know. What about you guys? Have you ever tried to convince your parents to play? Your mum plays a bit of games, right?
She's into the horror a lot, so she's played Silent Hill, all of them, Resident Evil, all the mainline ones. I don't think she played. She played like Code Veronica. She did a bit of Bloodborne recently. And God of War. Awesome. She found it too hard though. Resident Evil 7. That's the bit of the meme. Remember when she phoned me at work asking me about the dog key? Remember, how do I get the key?
Yeah.
She's not like mad on them, but she likes horror.
She does.
She's into horror films and stuff.
She's open to it though. That's the thing.
Yeah, she is. And my dad's the same. Like he's just always blown away by the graphics. Like he'll always be like, I saw on the telly this thing. It was God of War that he liked recently because he likes mythology and that. So he was like well into that. And then they come round, and because I guess the nature of the job, I'm always on top of the games. I've got all the new ones. The only one my dad's brought up that he quite fancied having a go of, and I don't have it, is Far Cry 5. But he's not big on them. But he knows that I like them, so he tries to like remember when it's like, because the thing is, they go to the cinema a lot, and there's always trailers for games in the cinema these days. And he must be like making a conscious effort. I'll bring that up to Jacob. You know what I mean? So they do a bit of that. But I don't know how I would go about convincing them if they weren't really into it.
Well, you think about that then. And Liam, your dad's definitely a gamer.
He is, yeah. I mean, at the minute, he's playing The Division right now.
He's playing The Division right now? Right, okay.
He likes a bit of co-op tactical shooting, whatever. Right. And he used to play World of Tanks and World of Warships.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought he was more of a vehicular kind of... And that's a particularly dad thing, that, isn't it?
My dad, he's very into like the tactical military type games.
Okay.
Because that's just where... But he's always been into gaming.
So we've all got parents that don't really need convincing, is the bottom line, right?
The only one who... My mum doesn't play games at all. Yeah. But she's open to it. And I think she has enjoyed playing like Wii Sports and just like party games like Mario Party and shit like that.
Yeah.
So
that's probably how I try and convince people. Like show them these like really light-hearted, fun games that are easy to pick up.
Yeah, totally. And that's part of the reason why Nintendo Wii is like so unbelievably successful, right? Because it was accessible to everyone. Just move the sticks. Just move the sticks.
Bought a Nintendo Wii.
It was huge with grandparents. People were taking it around old people's homes and stuff like that. And they were doing like Wii Fit and all that.
Wii Fit boards, they were massive. I don't know. I think it's got to be the casual. It's got to be the Nintendo games. Mario Kart, Mario Party. Mario Party is particularly interesting because it's turn-based and stuff like that.
Bit of Overcooked, isn't it, mate? That's the secret sauce.
Get like their mum's cooking.
Get them playing Overcooked. It's very accessible. 3 buttons. You can split a controller. You can split a keyboard. You don't have to.
But it is stressy, and they might not like that.
I think the best chance is it does lie in those like bright, colourful
it
games
does,
with like easy gameplay.
I'm an Overcooked fan, but I know that Gaz got stressed out playing it, and Gaz plays games, so I was thinking if, what happens if they're more like that? They just do like, because I think Gaz's exact quote was, it's stressing me out too much. Why is it? And I'm thinking maybe someone that won't like games will be like that. This is like an obstacle.
Yeah, like things get in the way. I don't know.
Viva Pinata?
That'd be it would.
It'd be better hard to get hold of it though.
The thing is,
I'd get it on rare replay. For a tenner.
Well, the problem is, it's different. Like everyone who likes games likes different games. It's like saying, how do you get someone into movies? Well, it depends what they're into. It's like different. You can't just start showing them like John Wayne films. I'm like, fucking no one wants to watch that anymore. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's nothing against John Wayne films, but it's just. Do you know what I mean? Though it's like you just pick. That's just a certain specific subgenre that a lot of older fellas would love. Right, but I wouldn't think John Wayne straight away. I'd think Dark Knight.
My mum always comes back. Like my mum comes to mine, and she's just been to visit my sister, and brother-in-law, and she's always like, "Oh, they've been playing like Overwatch again. They're always on that one." Do you know what I mean? She's like that. Oh, she can't get it, and I was like, I don't get it. So it just depends on the person.
The bottom line is, it depends on the person, and we personally have all got parents that just don't need convincing, really. Like maybe one of them is not into it, but the other one kind of is. And if one of them is kind of into it, then that doesn't put you in the situation that Simon's in, where they're just not into it at all, and they're saying it's a waste of time and all this and kind of thing. As long as one of them is like at least open to it, you're okay, I think. So thanks for the question, Simon.
Change your parents. That's what
just get some different parents.
Good to see you, Simon.
So let's move on to fact of the week. Can we have the jingle, please? Here we go. Prior to the release of the 2016 game No Man's Sky, developer Hello Games had spent 3 years in legal negotiations with Sky plc over the trademark on the word Sky. A trademark Sky had previously defended against Microsoft's choice of Sky Drive. The issue was ultimately settled in June 2016, allowing Hello Games to continue using the name. So that's obviously because No Man's Sky Next is...
There's nothing more interesting than the trademark battle.
No, nice little legal dispute there for fact of the week. Let's move on to Cred Redemption, I guess. Can we have the jingle for that, please? So this is Dead Cred Redemption. This is the feature where we read out a anonymous confession from one of our viewers or listeners, and if you want to send in your confessions for us to read out and thereby absolve you of your sins, it's gaming@goliath-media.com. That should be on your screens for anyone watching. That's gaming@goliath-media.com, and email in your stories, and we'll keep it completely anonymous.
True stories.
We'll read them out. Yeah, just don't lie. Just be a good sport. Just what's the point of lying anyway? Imagine doing that. Imagine writing up a lie.
I hate listening to all these, and I feel like I'm an inquisitor. I feel like I've got. They always come back to me though. The guy from last week came back to me with some more answers.
I often get follow-up emails with more details as well. Even if we didn't ask, even if we just say, I wonder how they did this. I wonder why this happened. They'll just email with like clarification, which is great. Don't lie, but just be a good sport, innit? Just send in your confessions.
What you got for us this week?
So this week's Dead Cred Redemption goes something like this. This is from Anonymous. The year was 2005. I was dropped at my cousin's house for a weekend of fun, playing Tekken and FIFA Street on his new PlayStation 2. We had to wait until night time before we could play, as there was only one TV in the house, and apparently the news takes priority over gaming. Anyway, back to the story. When the time came, I was tasked with placing the FIFA Street disc in the tray while he was in the toilet. Not realising, I placed a pirated DVD of Sinbad, if it matters, inside, and the scratching noises from the PS2 almost killed me. The whole disc tray jammed up, and I managed to pry it open before he came back, but the thing was stuffed. To cut a long story short, I blamed it on the shop, and when he went to get a new one, with the warranty, they refused to take it back unless they pay $120 for repair, which his parents refused to pay on principle to teach him a lesson. In the end, he only got to play FIFA Street on the PS2 that I got 3 months later.
Damaging your mate's property.
I like the story for the detail. I like the fact that there was a pirated DVD.
Of Sinbad.
He could have just said a DVD, but we know that it's a pirated DVD of Sinbad.
He's anonymous. He can do what he wants.
He can do what he wants.
He knows the FBI aren't on him.
Yeah, exactly. These stories live and die on the colouring in and
for this
around
guy,
the details.
Because it's not their fault. I mean,
it was a simple mistake.
To some extent, listen, how are you going to make the mistake of FIFA Street and Sinbad pirated? Because let's assume that it's a white label disc with the word Sinbad on it. There's an S, and that's about where it ends. FIFA Street, though, it doesn't even look the same. So how do you fuck up like that? But
it sounds to me like he put it in the tray wrong as well, which is the main issue.
Like upside down or something.
Or just not quite sitting in the thing properly. So it comes out as a little tray, right, and then the tray goes in.
It's an honest mistake.
Jams, breaks. Yeah. This is what I'm imagining. Again, if you want to clarify that, just send in a follow-up email. So I think this is not too bad. I think the sin is this is the sin, not the fact that he did the sin bad. The bad sin is the fact that he didn't tell his friend the truth. He just kind of went, "Oh, I don't know.
Must be that bloody shop again. I've heard about them.
That shop.
Yeah,
get it back to that shop, friend." So that's bad, and also the fact that he then gets a PlayStation 2 and then in kind of a salt in the wounds kind of thing is can only play FIFA Street.
You know you've got that FIFA Street that you can't use because that stupid shop broke your PS2.
Play over on mine.
Bring it mine if you want. I'll tell you what. I'll got your hands. I got a Sinbad DVD while you're at it.
Yeah, yeah. You know it's got a PS2 now.
Stuck in the PS2.
Yeah, I feel like it's an honest mistake up until that point where it's just a little bit cowardly, but you're probably a kid and that's okay.
Yeah, I think you're all right here. I think you did bad by not. You did sin bad by not by not coming clean. I suppose that would have been that wouldn't have been a story if you'd have just gone. I'm sorry, mate. I just put the disc in. I fucked up your PlayStation.
I can see where your logic is there. You coming clean wouldn't have made it any better, would it?
No.
Whereas bringing the shop and if that worked, that would have been good because you would have got a new PS2. If you told the shop, hey, we did the pirated Sinbad thing.
That's it.
No chance. So you tried for your cousin, and I respect
all
that.
for the cousin.
Wow. It was good. I think you're redeemed.
That's a good story. Thank you for sending that in. That's gaming@goliath-media.com if you want to send in your anonymous stories of gaming sins. Maybe you deleted someone's save by mistake. There's a few of them. Putting in discs the wrong way, for example. Anything bad or embarrassing or anything you did in-game. Some of my favourite ones were like MMO kind of setup and heist type ones where they had their friends.
To me, that's still
they're the best ones, yeah. Any gaming related thing that you're ashamed of or embarrassed about, send it in to gaming@goliath-media.com. We will read it out anonymously and you can feel better about getting it off your chest. So let's move on to some more questions. Part 2. This first question is from Fight Milk, which is an excellent name to anyone who's seen Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Fight Milk, I think is how you pronounce it properly. Do you guys have any games you wish people around you also played, just to have them experience the same revelation or excitement that you did? Because with games, it's sometimes hard to explain appeal with just words. So are there any games that you wish your close, let's say colleagues, let's restrict it to the office, right?
Okay.
Is there any game that you wish other people would play just so they would get it?
Two Worlds 1. Summoner 2.
I played that.
Tibia. Cheers. That's it.
But you would think they were shit now if you played them, I bet you.
Nah, Tibia wouldn't say that, mate.
Right, but then the other 3 that you just said.
Did you play Summoner 1? Summoner 1?
Yes.
That's the one.
I played a demo of it.
Don't count. Finish Summoner 1. That's
Can I tell you?
Skate 2.
Okay.
Skate 2.
That's a good answer.
We're done.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
Okay.
I'll play Skate 2. Can I tell you a little fact about me? I played basically like 90% of PlayStation 2 games for at least a little bit because I used to trade in my games furiously. And every weekend I'd just be trading in my games and just doing something else for the next week. So I played a lot. I didn't finish a lot of games, but I played a lot of games. So Summoner 1, I played probably about 10-15 hours of it. It's good. But I wanted another game, do you know what I mean? I wanted like Red Faction 2 or some shit like that for the second
one. Summoner 1. Yes, Skate 2 though, man.
Skate 2, great answer. Great answer there. Liam, you got any?
Ape Escape.
Okay,
yeah, I finished it. I fucking love it.
Jake gets it.
Yeah, but it's sick. It is sick.
But I know you and Gaz have not played Ape Escape, as far as I know.
I haven't played Ape Escape.
Ape Escape 2 you can buy on PS4, right?
You can't. Just play it and you'll understand the joy and whimsy that is Ape Escape.
I can buy it on PS4, but will I? That's the question.
It goes on sale quite a lot. But yeah, it's just I love those games, but not a lot of people have played them.
Fair enough. So mine's obviously going to be a strategy game, but I'm going to say I could pick like about 4, but I'm going to go with XCOM 2. Because Jake started playing it.
Yeah, I started playing it.
But you just kind of dabbling at the moment, and I just wanted to play it properly.
I bumped into a couple of issues where I just couldn't figure out how to move the camera up a floor. So I knew that there was some alien scum on the top, but I couldn't get my camera there. I was like, the fuck.
Well, okay, 2 points, right? It's good that you call them alien scum because you're getting in the right mindset there, and they do need to be eliminated. And when you move the camera up, it's a very simple, basic maneuver that I believe is on the screen.
Yes, this is it. I was looking for the button prompts. So I'm playing on PS4. But
so you can figure out by going into the options. I think
I'm having a nice time. Just
play the game.
I'm over that hurdle now. I know how to do it. But at the time, and there was one point where I turned it off because I was just a bit grumpy. Because you've got your percentage of hit chance. I had a sharpshooter class, and I had about a 97% chance of hitting, and it was crucial to the mission. I missed and then got shot and killed, and I was like, 3% chance it's going to fuck me up like that. XCOM, turned it off. So, and it's just sitting there now. I'm ready to go back. I feel like I've come to terms with the fact that death is going to follow me around and mock me constantly.
You need to do the Dark Souls thing of accepting the fact you're already dead, and you need to, and it's the worst possible way to play XCOM is thinking I'm going to get everyone out of this alive. You can do that a lot in early missions if you're playing on a normal difficulty mode or whatever. You can do it, right? And it is fun to keep everyone, like, everyone's a hero and stuff, but that's not like that's not what the game is. Right?
I think everyone that goes into XCOM for the first time kind of thinks that. Like, I heard that you're going to lose your guys, but not me. I'm going to keep my because I'm going to be really careful, and that's what I thought. And I was like really being careful, and then I got this nearly unmissable shot, somehow missed.
But you know what the inverse of that is, right? If you've got like a 5% shot and then you take it and you're like, I'm dead. Unless I get the shot, I'm dead. And you take it and then it fucking lands. And you're like, oh my God, I'm safe. I've done it. I'm safe. I can get out. I can extract. And you have
then you've got the thrill of that. So maybe that 3% will come back for me one day.
It'll grant me. It evens out over the hours of play, I would say. But yeah, just play XCOM 2 for God's sakes. That's my answer. Have we all answered? What our
play Dino Crisis as well while you're at it.
Alright, it's the second answer now.
Ape Escape and Dino Crisis, Skate 2 and XCOM 2.
Okay.
That's our answers.
Okay.
Total Annihilation as well. Right, Gareth McKelvey asks, is pro gaming a worthwhile career choice? Would you enroll on a video gaming degree? Now, we are not qualified to answer this, I don't think, because we are not pro gamers.
So I'm going to say no.
I'm assuming esports is what
I think the chance of success is so low that I don't think it's worth pursuing, That's just me, but
listen, if you enjoy playing games and you enjoy playing games competitively, just do that a lot, innit? Just do it as much as you fancy doing it. And if you start thinking, I'm fucking good at this, and then just keep doing it, and then maybe I knew one guy who was anywhere near this, and I might have already said this on a podcast, right? And he's my friend Sean from school, and he used to play Guitar Hero unbelievably religiously. Have I told you this already?
No. I think so.
And he was like top, Through the Fire and the Flames on Guitar Hero 3. He was like one of the best in the world at doing that. To the point where like Red Bull were saying, can we sponsor you to do some mad Guitar Hero shit? And he would he honestly would practice, like he would just get home from school and he would just do it, and he knew exactly in the song when to pause. He would like have a bit of a cup of tea and he was like having a bit of a rest, pause off, and then keep doing the because it's like a 7-minute song that's got like a million notes in it. And he would just keep doing it and doing it and doing it, and he was like, honestly, he was top in one certain leaderboard for completing it with a certain rating. He was just obsessed with hitting this one song in Guitar Hero 3, and that's the closest I've ever known anyone to try and really do it, like seriously, like proper playing games to the fact
weird that, because I know somebody that plays games professionally and they started off doing that, and now they play this is the thing, this is I won't name names, but if you know me in real life you're going to know who I'm on about. He used to play Guitar Hero 3 for the fact, and then he got into Super Smash Bros. Melee. And he's part of the biggest team in the UK for Super Smash Bros. On the GameCube, and he works part-time in a hotel night clerk when he's not winning money doing it, because there's not that much money in it. And when there is a competition, if he doesn't win money, he has to go to his hotel job.
He needs income.
He is technically a professional gamer, but because there's not a huge scene for Smash, like in terms of money, he still has a normal job as well, so he's just doing it on the side, really. So I don't know, I guess he's semi-pro then maybe, but he's the biggest fish in that little pond of Smash. So I don't know, it doesn't seem very worthwhile from where I'm looking, but maybe if you were like shit hot at Fortnite and in the millions, you'd beg to differ. Let us know if you are one of those people. Cheers.
Would we enroll in a video gaming degree?
Nah.
No, I don't think. I just about enrolled in the degree that I did do, so... Ryan Morton asks, off the top of your head, what is one of your greatest gaming achievements? Mine personally would be defeating Ultima, Ruby and Emerald Weapon on Final Fantasy VII, even though Ruby was an absolute prick.
Yeah, I never beat Rudy.
Greatest gaming achievements.
Sad that. I think about that sometimes and go, damn.
One day.
I will do it one day probably, but fuck.
What? Final Fantasy 7?
Ruby Weapon, yeah, man.
So that's nice around. That's all you need, man.
Well, it'll come on the Switch one day, won't it? Final Fantasy 7, and then you can play it on that.
Yeah, that's a good achievement. Congratulations on all of them. Emerald Weapon was a prick as well. I don't know what my greatest gaming achievement is, to be honest.
Neither do I. I'm not on.
No. At one point, I was 13th on the leaderboard for Max Payne 3 on Xbox 360.
That's
for what?
Because they had a game mode in it called New York Minute, which is like if your timer ran out, the game just ended and you started from the beginning.
That does sound fun.
Yeah, I did it on the hardcore version of that. 13th in the world at one point.
How does it in time? Or?
Just like how much time you got on the clock.
Right. Oh, that's right.
13th.
Wow, nice one.
I know what mine is. It's really pretty just humble, I guess. But I was like 13, I think, and it's the first time I'd really tried to 100% a game, and I got 100% on Hitman 2.
Yeah.
Which you need to get Silent Assassin on every level, which means you're not allowed to kill anybody apart from the target. Everyone else has to be non-lethal, and you're not caught or anything.
Yeah.
And I did that, and I did Contracts and Blood Money afterwards. But 2 I felt was a bigger achievement because I was way younger, and it was like the first time doing it, and I had to do it on the GameCube controller.
Yeah.
So Hitman 2 probably 100% in that. That was really fucking difficult, and it was like the internet was like kind of just not really popping off back then. It was like 56k dial-up and shit, so I couldn't fucking Google it or YouTube it or whatever. I had to just use my brain and wrap my brains for ages, proper like in school thinking like when I get home, and I was like proper committed to the cause. Felt like a training for a marathon or something.
Yeah.
So I guess that. Pretty underwhelming, isn't it?
No. It's fine. Mine's. I don't even have an achievement. I think Platinum in Bloodborne was quite nice, but that's only. I'd only ever consider that because of how much I like the game.
Yeah.
And that's why I would consider it. That's me not only buying the game but expressing my thanks for how much I like it.
Yeah.
By just doing everything, and you've got to do some mad shit to platinum that game. And I guess. Me and my friend used to play Battle for Middle-earth 2, the Lord of the Rings strategy game on Xbox 360, like loads, and we got in like the top 100 or something on a fucking monthly rotating leaderboard, or something like that, And it was a very competitive game because obviously it's an RTS game. It's built around like StarCraft is like about different rushes and just keep doing it and just having muscle memory like crazy. And the fact we were doing it on an Xbox controller as well made it all the more difficult. So I suppose that. I guess, but I can't really think of anything. No. I'm not an achievement-driven player anyway. I don't look at trophies ever at all, except with Bloodborne. I used to be.
I used to have to 100% everything.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just felt like it.
Yeah, some people do. Some people just. I don't. Some people feel like they haven't finished it until they've done it. I'm the complete opposite. I bail out of the first possible opportunity. as soon as I can say I've done it, any opportunity, then I'm out. So thanks for that question, Ryan Morton. Next one is, can you help me pronounce this one? K5TRL. Kestrel? K5TRL. Kestrel? All right, K5TRL.
Kestrel.
K5TRL asks, would you ever consider doing interviews with people from the industry, like voice actors or game designers? Just have a nice, easygoing chat with them and maybe have them tell us something about their job, how they came to it, maybe some interesting projects and the like. Yeah, of course. It is something that we are working on in the very near future. I probably is the best way of putting it at the moment. We will have some stuff like that very soon. And we have done it at EGX. We did it at EGX last year. And we interviewed tons of people. We did at least 5 between us. I think in terms of interviews, and they were the designers. They were like senior people from Ubisoft and or whatever different companies. We've done it. It's just a matter of setting it up and stuff, and a matter of them being ready and at a point where they want to talk about the games because obviously it's so controlled and whatever. But yeah, it's something we're open to, and there'll be something on it in a very, very near future. That's all I can say. So Carl Pole says, hello PGG, been following you for a year and a half now, also from North Wales, and happy to be finally part of the PGG fam as a new Patreon supporter.
Wow,
nice one, Carl. Thanks for joining.
Wherever you may be.
Have you ever moved on from a more casual genre towards any more intense hardcore genre and struggled to go back, be it RTSs, RPGs, or maybe the other way around? I feel like I'm going to have a bad time coming to Elder Scrolls 6 after playing Kingdom Come and not having clothes affect my charisma, etc.
I'm not laughing at just the clothes affected your charisma is just a funny sentence, isn't it?
Yeah. It's
that's gonna be a thing in Cyberpunk, right?
Yeah,
where clothes affect your street cred,
where you're allowed access to and shit like that. Works, yes, that's definitely an interesting thought. Like, what, you know, if you've experienced something in one game, can you go back and have it not be there in another game? I don't know. I don't know if I've ever kind of progressed into a more hardcore genre or whatever. Like, the furthest I've ever got into anything that was like remotely resembling a sim is like Armour 3 and Armour 2, which I played quite a bit, and I only got into Armour 2 because of DayZ. You needed it for the mod.
You did, yeah.
And then I played a bit of DayZ, and then I just actually started playing Armour 2 and had a fucking good time with it. Yeah. And that's as close as I can think, really. And then that didn't make me go, I can't possibly play Battlefield now because I can't lean slightly to the right like I can in Armour.
That's the thing. I think it's about how you are with just the expectations of it's like adjusting your bar, isn't it? Some people can only go up, they can't go back down again, and it's like when you're playing RPGs, especially like deep ones and shit like that, like, you know, you've got to remember that they're not all when you play an amazing game, don't make that the standard. I think that's the thing, and some people do just struggle with that. Some people can't help it, it's just the way it is. Like I remember, like what you were saying then about Armour, I remember playing Operation Flashpoint on the 360 alongside Call of Duty, completely different games. And one had features that the other one didn't have, and one had a lot more depth and stuff, but it's just about moving your bar back down again, isn't it? It's like, you know, Divinity Original Sin 2, RPG, insanely detailed, insanely interactive, voice acted, whatever. Dark Souls and RPG, completely like, you know, sharp combat and stuff like that. Completely different games, but then if I go back now and just play I don't know, I guess a pretty bland like open world game or whatever, I'm not going to be sitting there going, wish this was Dark Souls. Some people do though.
I get it in which is the example I always roll out, but like going back from The Witcher 3 to Dragon Age Inquisition, I had it very badly then. I was kind of just not appreciating what was in Dragon Age because it just wasn't anywhere near as good as what was in The Witcher, just in terms of the world and stuff like that. So I definitely had it, but not in terms of like difficulty or like hardcore or just complexity. Like, imagine if you played Divinity and then you just finished it and then you went and played what else could you play? Well, if you went back and played RPG. Any other RPG, you know, there's so many things in Divinity that just aren't in other games, and you can't apply logic in most games like you can in Divinity, where you can say, well, we can't get through this door, we haven't got a lockpick, we haven't got a key. Well, let's just cut the door down then. Let's just, do you know what I mean? You cut the door down. that has ramifications. People will but you can hey, what are you doing in it? But it's a decision that you can take. No. You can't take that decision in a lot. You can't just hack out a door in Skyrim. You know, you can't just kick a door in Skyrim if you can't go through it. You can't go through
exactly. it. You'd have motherfucking Witcher and you can't get in you can't jump over a little fence or something. It's just like, what are you gonna do just because it's the game decided? It's just I guess it's just I'm pretty good at like just going, okay, so this is what this is. Yeah. You know, some people like just hardware wise, people get a taste for the 60 FPS and then they can really feel it. More people are not actually. Yeah. But I'm good at just switching off and just being like, all right, well, this is what this is, and this game that I'm playing now is this way.
Do you ever have that, Liam? Do you ever have that?
Actually, going into what Jake just said about hardware, there was a time towards the end of like the PS3 360 era, before the PS4 just came out, I was playing a lot of FPS on PC, and then I remember getting Destiny on PS4, and I really struggled to adjust to the controller because I was playing so much on PC that I was just missing the accuracy.
I said this exact thing to Jake yesterday when we were having a flaming argument about it on Twitch because he was talking about PC. But that's definitely happened to me. That exact thing where I was playing loads of PC first-person games and I played the same game, Destiny, and then because it was running at 30 FPS, you feel like you're wading through treacle when you're playing that game. Yeah. It's just a very jarring experience.
It was. It put me off Destiny for a while just because I was like, I can't do it. I just can't do it. But then I just had to sort of like relearn the controller, I guess. Yeah, it was definitely the very similar experience that I had with it. And
And I think that is probably more of a thing for me, where you have a performance, like if a game runs badly after playing a game that runs great, be it from PC to console or 2 console games. If one, if I play like Bloodborne or something, and that one doesn't run, that runs at like whatever frame rate. But then if I play that, because it's so sharp and responsive, and then I play another third-person open world game that isn't, I really feel it. So let's move on to the penultimate question before we finish up the podcast. Elliot Gardner asks, says a new game comes out, one which you have been looking forward to for a long time. Some people's perfect night would involve a massive bag of Doritos and some Mountain Dew. Some just need a headset and a do not disturb sign. What is your ideal gaming night?
This is me tonight, mate. This is it, right? Okay, so the time of recording, No Man's Sky Next is out tonight, and I have been pumped. I've been up early checking if the update was live. So I've called my girlfriend. Oh, I didn't call her, just text her. Let's be honest here. Let's not stretch the truth. Text her, can we get some pizzas in? She's like, yeah. So we've got pizzas ready. All right. Lipton iced tea. That's my favourite drink. Lipton iced tea, some pizza, and then maybe a little bit of flips. Do you know what flips are? I think I told you before. Chocolate covered pretzels. Yeah, they sell in Asda. I don't know. They must be big in America, but around here it's hard. They're like a little rare delicacy, and that's where I come. So I've got pizza, and if you want details,
you're such a hipster.
What?
They're a rare delicacy, and that is why I like them.
No, because they're a treat. That's what I'm saying. They're a treat.
Okay.
It's not a fucking pack of Walkers, because you have
sounded an awful lot like you're saying most people don't know about this, so I can enjoy it.
No treat, innit?
I get what you're saying. He doesn't have them often.
Exactly. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. Exactly.
Liam, just let me insult.
So the fucking so the pizza is like I don't know what I fancy, but I like pepperoni olive.
Where are you going for it? Are you buying it in?
No, order it in.
Big,
I like the greasy ones.
Yeah,
if it's a treat again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
I like the face of it's a treat, Mike. Yeah, you get.
Yeah, no, I'll do pepperoni, olive, pineapple, and onion with flips and Lipton iced tea. That's me. That's my game of night.
That's a strong level of details, Liam.
I do like a good pizza, nice like takeaway pizza from wherever, Domino's, your local kebab house, whatever. Yeah. Like snacks, preferably Pringles. I don't know why.
Nice, yeah,
just
good
the easy tube, and you can just eat them by the handful. Yeah. And some sweets. Like I don't know what though. It depends on the mood I'm in. Like if it's chocolate or like gummy sweet or whatever.
Yeah.
And then just like I don't know, get some cider in as well.
See, this is hypothetical. The reason my detail is because I planned that out for today already. I've been thinking about it.
This is actual an event that's happening.
This is happening. Yeah.
Just get like a crate of cider. I don't know.
Yeah.
And that'll be me. Just sit down, play a game.
Yeah.
Lots of greasy takeaway food.
We're all very similar.
Can I ask for one more level of detail for both of your answers?
Onion rings as well.
When you're playing a game, light on or light off? No. Factor that into your answer.
Depends on the game.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Well, it depends on all kinds of. It has very little bearing on the situation, but it does change, but it doesn't really matter.
I just never asked you guys that. Okay,
blinds are shut most of the time.
Yeah,
to stop don't want that glare.
No glare.
You don't want any glare, do you?
Right.
Not an animal.
What are you bringing, Mike?
I've had this, and I'm just going to use this. I think because it was like perfect, man. It was around the time Destiny 2 came out. We were playing a bit of Destiny 2, and I got Domino's pizza, and this was I don't normally go for Domino's because it's just well expensive to be honest. We're not sponsored, so it's a lot of money.
Imagine we were sponsored. Domino's.
This podcast is brought to you by Domino's, and then like an hour in, it's
we don't get it often because it's fucking
Domino's. It's well expensive. It was Domino's. It was a big kind of barbecue-ish, chicken-ish type thing.
Yeah.
And then it was like a meal deal type thing, and it had like some cookies or whatever, and that was it. And then a bag of wine gums, always wine gums.
Yeah, it's wine gums.
Yeah, and then possibly a salty snack as well, possibly like crisps or whatever, kettle chips or something like that. Yeah, and then beers, just some beers, just some. I've always got like some Budweiser or anything else. Mm-hmm. Yeah, good question. Thank you.
Love it.
Thank you, Elliot Gardner. Let us know what your ideal gaming nights are down in the comments. That'd be cool to read. Just so I can get some ideas, basically. So if I want
recipes.
Yeah, exactly. And then the last question of the podcast comes from Stony Montana, who's a new sub. A new sub, like many are this week, says they couldn't imagine a YouTube without their favourite channel. So thank you very much. Stony Montana for that one. Their question: which are the dumbest or daftest or not so brightest, whatever you want to call it, characters you have ever encountered in a game? For me, the first that come to mind are definitely the twin brothers, Sam and Max from Fable 2 and 3. Not to misunderstand, I really liked them and the missions they had, but even after death, they just didn't learn, did they? So that's quite nice. That's quite I don't be picking out dumbest characters, but I'll take your daftest. I'll take daftest because that's just a bit,
Yeah.
So who's your favourite, like, kind of... It's a difficult question to answer this.
No, I've got a dumb one.
Go on.
Winnie the Pooh from Kingdom Hearts.
Is he like a bit dopey?
He's dumb as fuck. It's like...
Shots fired.
It's like, it's the worst quest line in the game. And he's like, got his head stuck in a honey pot and you've got to help him and like do a mini game. And it's like, fucking hell, Winnie the Pooh. What are you doing?
Yeah, come on. We're trying to save the universe, yeah?
What a dick.
And what are you doing, you knobhead? Well, kind of, a guy with a voice that, sounds questionably sad and gets stuck in things a lot and has something weird on his head. Sigurd or Sigmire from Dark Souls.
Yeah.
He's not so much dumb, but he is like...
oblivious.
He's a bit... Yeah, and he's kind of got tunnel vision, hasn't he? Like, he just... Oh, I'll just get tricked and fall down a well. Yeah. Or, I can't use an elevator.
Yeah.
Or, I'll try and talk to the Balrog.
Yeah.
I love him. He's my favourite character in the whole trilogy. But him and his reincarnation, or is it his, like, grandson? I don't know. I'm going to say reincarnation. But especially in the third game, he's just like... I heard his voice in a well. Help.
Yeah.
It's him. He's down a well. Patches has gone down a well. What are you doing? Yeah. How have you done that? You've got a fucking Zweihander and you in a well. Nah. That's my favourite answer there. Yeah. My boy Sigmire.
I don't know if I can answer this. I don't know if I've got a dumbest...
I've got a daft character.
Go on.
Goro Majima from Yakuza. He's meant to be like a really hardened criminal, and he just takes the piss all the time.
Yeah.
Like pops up out of a sewer in Yakuza Kiwami and just like ambushes you.
Yeah.
It's like, pops out of a sewer like Ivan Ooze or something.
Like patches. Yeah. I think like Rockstar games pop into you think but the thing is there's so many. Like in Red Dead Redemption there's so many characters that I would put in this category because they're all weird and assholes, a lot of them.
Far Cry has a lot of that as well.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. I think maybe Far Cry, one of the dudes.
Is it like Reggie and Yogi or something?
Reggie and Yogi, like the two
weird
kind of
spiritual
stoners. The thing is though, they were annoying because they keep taking you to this spiritual bit of the game.
Yeah. Annoying,
just whatever. I just wanted to tick that off after I'd done it the first time. Do you know what I mean? I just wanted to get it done. I don't know. It's tough to answer that. To be honest, I don't usually go, what a dumbass when I've encountered a character. Do you know what I mean? It's just.
I do like it though. Like.
It's a good premise.
To have characters in games that are a bit goofy. Like again, this whole like
Fable,
Dark Souls thing. Oh, I'm stuck down a well. It's just like
its personality is what
completely
it is.
polarizing compared to like the really horrible, oppressive cathedral you're outside. You're almost like laughing to yourself. So it's and Fable's
a great choice. And Divinity, which we're playing.
Yeah, loads of funny things in that as well. Like especially the animals.
There's loads of people don't know you can actually talk to animals in Divinity if you've got certain perks or whatever. But and they. A lot of them have actual
because they're really down to earth quests, aren't they? Like stole my eggs or whatever. So
kill a load of chickens, stuff like
classic. That. I find them really important, and there's lots of good examples, I guess, like the Far Cry ones and like Fable and shit.
Yeah,
I was thinking anything from like a Rare game, Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
There's loads of like just silly characters that lighten the mood. That's sort of thing.
There really is.
Like bottles from Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah, Banjo-Kazooie is full of them, isn't it? What's the witch doctor called?
Oh, Mumbo Jumbo?
Yeah, Mumbo Jumbo.
That's a good question. So that's the end of the questions for this podcast. Now I've got a little surprise for you guys. It's another segment, right? This is right at the end of the podcast.
What?
Post-credit scene.
I've got another end of podcast segment, which we're going to keep doing. There's no jingle or anything for this one. It's just a little game.
All right.
Okay.
Just a little game.
Oh, my God.
I call this game, this is right at the end of the podcast, by the way. Usually we just end on the questions and then say thank you and goodbye. But there's a new segment, which is a big surprise. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Real set era or not real set era? So I am going to read out Reset era. I'm gonna read out 3 reset era thread titles for you. Liam, try not to look at my screen here.
Okay.
You have to tell me. You have to tell me if they are real set era or not real set era.
So for people that don't know, reset era is a really popular forum on the internet where a lot of in-depth video game discussion comes along. Now, there's a lot of really good points made on our website, and there's a lot of really interesting discussions.
Very quick on the news.
The thing is, though, when you are kind of, you want to be part of the conversation, and you want a thought-provoking conversation, and you kind of end up clutching at straws, you do end up making some pretty silly threads. And there can be threads that are stuff like, the problem I have with Diddy Kong's red cap in Donkey Kong Country.
They're unbelievably specific.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So this is, it's not. I'm not going to put screenshots of whoever on the screen. This is going to be anonymous. I'm just going to read out the title.
Yeah.
They are, well, exactly. Yeah, that's the idea. There's some of them are real, some of them are not. So you've got to tell me which ones are real and which ones are not. Okay, so this is real set era or not real set era. Yeah. You can be a team. It's a bit Radio 1, but who cares, right?
No.
So number 1. Heterotopias, a fascinating digital zine about digital spaces and architectural design. Is that real set era or not real set era?
Because the name and all that.
I'll read it for you again.
It's so specific. If Max made that up, he should make this zine or whatever he called it.
I'll read it for you again. Heterotopias, a fascinating digital zine about digital spaces and architectural design.
Digital spaces and architecture. I think that's going to be real.
Is this real set era?
Yeah.
We're going real set era?
Yeah.
It's real set era.
Yeah.
Mike, get us a ding noise there after the correct answers, mate.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, bring on
That's Mike
one.
the editor. I'm not talking to myself there. Here's number 2. The older I get, the more video games remind me of drawing.
Oh, again, it sounds like it could be real.
It does,
doesn't it? The way you carve a clear path and then go back and change it. I'm going to go with real again. Liam, what do you think, though?
Real, yeah.
Okay.
Real again.
Is it real or not? Ding! Real set era. There we go. And number 3. Real set era or not real set era. We have to talk about the lack of content in Mario Tennis.
We have to talk. Now, this is quite a common discussion, I think.
I've seen a lot of reviews complain about the lack of content.
So I think reset era will just flip it and be like, actually, it's full of content. So I'm going to say no, but I don't know. It's up to you, Liam.
I want to say real.
We have a divide. I'll read it for you again. We have to talk about the lack of content in Mario Tennis.
It sounds like a Vice article. I'm going to go. All right, well, me and Liam are going to have to go our separate ways. I'm going to say false. Liam's going to say true, I think.
Okay, yeah, that'll be the. I'm going to say real, yeah.
Okay. It's real.
No!
They're all real. They're all real.
We have to.
Okay. And another surprise. Here's a bonus round. Question 4.
Okay. Full surprises
Okay.
today, aren't you?
The moral of the Yakuza series: hypocrisy without end.
I fucking love the internet, Let's say real again.
Yeah, real.
That's real as well. They're all real. Real set era or not real set era. So we might play that again next week.
Thanks, reset era.
I was just screenshotting some of these threads and I just wanted to do something with them. So here we are. Real set era or not real set era.
Fair enough.
We maybe will do that again in future. Who knows? Thank you everyone for listening to podcast 73. Pretty good gaming. We're now on Spotify and iTunes and whatever your podcast provider is. You should be on
podcast service.
Yeah, exactly. If you're using third-party like aggregator stuff, Castbox or whatever, we should be on there as well. Yes. So check us out. If you don't want to be watching on YouTube, you want to listen, you want to take it with you in the car or whatever, then you can do that now, which is about damn time, right? So check us out there. And if you are a Patreon and you want to support us and you want to ask us questions, you can check out this podcast post on our Patreon page, and then you can comment below with your question, which we will read out in the following podcast for you. Thank you everyone for listening. Thanks for watching. I've been Mike Williams. This is Jake Kulkowski and Liam McKelvey. We will see you next time.